What is up, guys? And today I have something for you, which is both Haaland and Mbappé playing in clubs in the National League for Aldershot and for York. Um, how I did that is I just put him in the pre-game editor and made a future transfer for 2033, so over 10 years. And this makes sure that he doesn't leave. So he will stay for 10 years at this club, and the same goes for Mbappé. So I'm really curious to see if, for example, their stats go down, if they still get any French caps because of their reputation. Because his reputation is right now 4.5 stars, and Haaland's reputation is 4 stars. Okay. So obviously they are the best players in the division. Interestingly, Wrexham is still predicted to finish first. But Aldershot and York are right behind that. So I'm going to simulate at first 1 year into the future, and let's take a look at what will happen. So here we are, the first year into the future, the end of the first season, and you can see that Aldershot has won the title alongside Mbappé, but Haaland actually got the top scorer award. So he was the best player in the league. No average rating, Mbappé was the best player in the league again. But yeah, really tight battle, and Aldershot is going up. And York actually didn't make it, even though they came into the playoffs, but they lost. So that is really interesting, and it will be interesting to see. I don't really remember if their stats has gone down. But his reputation hasn't, and he's probably still in the Norwegian squad. Yeah, he's still considered the best player. Very interesting to see this. I am now going to go a few years into the future, and hopefully some interesting things will have happened. So we are now 4 years into the future. We are in 2026, the end of the season, and as you can see, York didn't make it out of League 2. So they did make it into League 2, but this year they didn't make it. And actually, if you go to the playoff final, they lost in the final on penalties. So that is a shame. Haaland did manage to pick up the top goal scorer award, but they finished fourth in the league and didn't get promoted via the playoffs. So that is really interesting because if we look at him, he's got a lot of Norwegian caps, but he's already 25 years old. A few of the stats have actually gone up. If you look at the training facilities, they aren't even that good. So I did expect them to go down, but they didn't. So that is really good to see. And his goal scoring record actually is a lot worse than I would have expected. I would have expected it to be at least even. But he is like 40 goals behind on his apps, which is of course very, very good for most players. But this is Haaland playing in League 2. So I would have expected a little bit better. So it's a shame that they didn't make it up, but I don't see Aldershot here. So I am going to go to League 1. And I see that Mbappé is here. And they came 10th. So they came perfectly mid-table. Mbappé didn't score that many goals, actually. 22. Only 22 goals. So again, the goal scoring record of him is really, really bad for the level that he's playing at. So it goes to show that the team around you is really important as well in Football Manager 2023. So it doesn't only rely on one player. His pace actually has gone down, so this player is going down a little bit. And I think that is... the training facilities aren't even that bad, actually. So that is quite interesting. But Mbappé is 27 already. He is considered one of the top players in France. Ooh, this is interesting. He's not even in the squad, but he is getting caps. So I don't know why he's not showing at the moment. But this is really interesting, and hopefully for him, they can get out of League 1, because he's already 27 years old, and I hope they're not stagnating right now. So I will go a few years in the future again, and hopefully they will be even better. So here we are in June 2029 in the season preview, and as you can see, both Mbappé and Haaland are in the Dream 11. And right now Haaland is considered the better player than Mbappé, so that has changed from the beginning. His stats actually have gone down again, so that is quite interesting to see. because he's in the prime of his career. He's 28 years old. He hasn't scored that many goals as well. Only 16 this year, and only 20 that year. So that is not a lot, especially for a player of his caliber. And for Mbappé, I think that may well be the same. No, he scored a lot of goals. So ninth. York is predicted to finish 9th, and Aldershot actually have gone worse. They're now predicted to finish 15th. So they're still in League 1. They're a comfortable mid-table League 1 side, but they have the best 2 players of the world in their squad. So that is really interesting to see. If you go back to Mbappé, he's now 30 years old. So I'm going to go another 2 years into the future to see his absolute prime, and that is 1 year before he will be joining Real Madrid. So hopefully he would have done something special with his team, and maybe back-to-back promotions, but we will see. So here we are in 2031, and Haaland and Mbappé are still in League 1. They're still a comfortable mid-table side, but still not in the Championship or even the Premier League. And Mbappé is now again considered to be the best player. Haaland the second best, of course. But they're still playing here. He's considered a legendary striker, so he does have the status. Yeah, the reputation is still 4 stars, and for Mbappé, his reputation is still 4.5 stars. So, because he's playing 123 times for France, he will still have his reputation, and he has played 107 times. So his goal scoring record is still worse than expected. Of course, for Haaland playing in League 1, League 2 and the National League, you would have expected him to score at least 50 goals a season, but he didn't. So that is really surprising. Well, I am going to simulate right now to just before this date for both players, and then we will see one last time if the players maybe did something special, or even then we will take a look at their career milestones, if they have won any prizes themselves. So let's see. So here we are just before they will get transferred, and as you can see, we are in League 1 and only Mbappé is playing here. And if you go to here, you see current holders are York City with Erling Haaland, and they are playing in the Championship. So with only a key player, a world star player, and nothing else special to the team, a team from the National League will get all the way up to potentially the Championship. If they would have just had better infrastructure around him, better players supporting Haaland or Mbappé to get the most out of those players, then who knows, maybe they could have even ended higher. But right now I'm going to take a look if he ever won any prizes. It doesn't look like he did. No. I'm going to take a look at the Ballon d'Or in just a moment, but this I found really interesting. If you go to the profile, you can see the top scorers in the league, and Mbappé isn't part of it. Of course, he had the highest average rating of everyone, most player of the matches, but he didn't even get in the top 3 for goal scoring awards, because he scored 11 goals in the league, which is incredibly bad for a player of his caliber. So that is really disappointing. He will go in just 2 months, will go to Real Madrid, so then the experiment is over. But before that, we will go to World Award winners, and then let's take a look at World Golden Ball. So as expected, both of those players aren't anywhere near. And maybe the goal 50? No. I don't think those players have won anything, because Unity and Next Gen doesn't really matter. World Player of the Year? No, he's not there. No, because the team's reputation really matters in these kinds of prizes, and you need to win titles, high value titles, and of course the Champions League or the Europa League. International football counts as well, but your domestic league is really important as well with the Continental Cups. So that's really interesting to see that both Haaland and Mbappé didn't win any prizes themselves, and didn't even do that well, because I've had a lot worse players playing in these kinds of leagues and scoring like a goal a game. So it's really disappointing that Haaland and Mbappé couldn't figure that. So the AI are not playing them in the best role, it seems, or getting the most out of those players. But it's really interesting to see those kinds of results. So this was the video, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in the next one.